Welcome to the Duquesne University Coaches Show, presented by UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Duquesne Dukes, and Mike's Beer Bar. Meet me at Mike's. It's time for the Sherwin-Williams Painting the Picture to Victory segment. Sherwin-Williams is the official paint provider of Duquesne Athletics. It was a statement Saturday for the Dukes, who closed out their home schedule with a thrilling 38-33 win over Central Connecticut State. Duquesne leaned on explosive playmaking on both sides of the ball and delivered in key moments. Taj Butts was unstoppable. The redshirt senior turned in one of the greatest rushing performances in program history, exploding for 254 yards and 3 touchdowns, including a game-winning 59-yard score with 3 minutes remaining. His dominance earned FCS National Offensive Player of the Week honors and NEC Player of the Week as well. He also garnered a coveted helmet sticker on ESPN's College Football Final. Defensively, the closer was Antonio Epps. In his 40th game as a Duke, Epps posted a career-high 12 tackles and sealed the victory with a game-clinching interception, earning NEC Defensive Player of the Week honors. Special teams stepped up in a big way, too. Michael Baraducci flipped the field all afternoon, averaging 50.7 yards per punt, 3 punts over 60 yards, including a 67-yarder. That effort landed him NEC Special Teams Player of the Week, the first DU punter to earn the award in over a decade. Quarterback Tyler Rydell also picked up recognition as an NEC Prime performer, throwing for 3 touchdowns for the 5th time this season. And with the win, the Dukes remain firmly in the FCS playoff conversation. Duquesne now turns to a crucial rivalry game at Robert Morris this weekend, a must-win to keep postseason hopes alive. The Dukes will also need Central Connecticut to fall at home to Mercyhurst to clear the path to an NEC title after the league's automatic playoff berth. That was the Sherwin-Williams Painting the Picture to Victory segment. Sherwin-Williams is the official paint provider of Duquesne Athletics.
Science doesn't happen in a silo. More and more, we need to have expertise from lots of different fields. And so that's one of the amazing things here at Hillman. Everyone here is committed to doing research that is going to ultimately help patients' lives. So bringing together lots of different smart minds that have a common mission is really the way that we're going to move forward.
For all your sports watching needs and great food, meet me at Mike's. Mike's Beer Bar was voted best sports bar in Pittsburgh. 300 local beers, 80 local taps, over 500 beers, and steak on a stone. Mike's Beer Bar, next to PNC Park, Federal Street, North Shore.
And welcome to the Duquesne University Football Coaches Show. Myself, Tim Benz, back with Jerry Schmitt, head coach of the Duquesne Dukes, brought to us by Cordia, Creating Energy Solutions. Also brought to us by Mike's Beer Bar in the North Shore and UPMC, the official healthcare provider of Duquesne Athletics. Jerry, congratulations on the win against Central Connecticut State.
Thank you, Tim. It was a fun afternoon on the Bluff.
Yeah, it was fun. It was an exciting game, back and forth.
Yeah, Rooney Field.
Lots of scoring, lots of emotional swings, even late in the game. Take us through what the mood was like on the sideline as, there's a lot of scoring back and forth, particularly at pivotal points in the game.
Listen, there were a lot of heroic efforts by our players, and staff did a good job preparing. Before we start, I do want to shout out to, the assistant producer of this show here, Tristan Chang, was able to get us a hype video to get ready for the game. And then Friday night at the team meeting, she did an outstanding job. Our guys were fired up. I think it really helped us, and we can talk later about it, get us back to understanding how we played football in the middle part of the season. But moving into this game, lots of ebbs and flows, a lot of changes. Really enjoyed how our guys stayed in the moment and believed in the end, if they just kept playing, kept their mindset in what they had to do, it was going to come out on top. And obviously the defense and Epps stood tall there, but we had some great offensive performances also.
Well, what did Tristan tap into? What was within that hype video that you needed to rediscover?
Well, we had a couple tough weeks there, and we probably weren't playing Dukes football. So I asked her if she could put together some clips of the way we played the game, and she utilized from the first game up until, Mercyhurst, and used some of those clips and put them together with some great sound bites and music. and get our guys fired up of them seeing themselves making plays, playing Dukes football the way we play, physical, fast, and smart. And I think that was a big part of last week's preparation was, I'd mentioned that we really beat two opponents on Saturday. We beat the one that we were struggling with was how are we playing? Who are we? Our confidence level coming out of those 2 weeks. We had to overcome that, and she was a big help in doing that to get our guys to remember just how we play and who we are and how good a football team we are. And then we beat a really good Central Connecticut State team.
Let's talk about some of the guys who got you that win. First and foremost, Taj Butts, who's going to be a guest of ours in just a little bit here. He had been banged up a lot throughout the year. Ness Davis, who had been your leading rusher coming into the game, only played a little bit for you guys in that contest. But Taj was phenomenal, 254 yards rushing, was the FCS Player of the Week nationally. Can you speak to me about the performance that he had?
We were very fortunate because Ness was banged up. We weren't sure if he could go until Saturday morning, and luckily he could go give us some snaps. And we were very fortunate that Taj got healthy. He's been grinding through this injury through the last 4 or 5 weeks. Played it sparingly at times, but would come out and say it just wasn't 100%. And for him, I'm so happy for him. I'm so proud of him to go have that kind of performance here in his senior year. He deserved it. He's a great young man, works really hard, extremely talented, and boy, did he explode.
I want to credit the offensive line, of course, for the blocking that they had because there's some huge holes that Taj could run through as well. But it wasn't just the offensive line. I thought the tight ends were phenomenal. Noah Canty in particular threw a couple of huge blocks that helped spring Taj.
He and Danny Terrell did an awesome job. 1-2 combination at times, both of them on the field. Coach Story and Coach Geisel set up schematics that put them in a good situation. Line did a great job. Had a phenomenal job preparing for it and being physical to a team that was very stingy in the run game throughout the season. And then Taj took advantage of it. He broke some tackles, too, at that second level and then showed great speed to get in the end zone.
You also used Noah in the passing game a little bit. He had a big 40-yard reception for you and set up a touchdown.
Yeah, here's a kid coming off an injury throughout, from last year and struggling to get back to 100%. And we were happy to have him back at that level and certainly adds to the passing game.
Epps, you talked about him getting the interception at the end of the game, but he also, I thought, stood up for you at the last level of defense quite a bit. He had I think he had 10 tackles on the day. A lot of them were at the back third of the defense where he was the last man standing potentially between the end zone and whoever had the ball for Central Connecticut State. I thought he had a really clutch game and in front of Rudy Field for, I think, the last time for him, right? Is he got eligibility left, or was this it for him?
Unfortunately, this is it for him, and I was happy for him and really played to keep his head in the game. He's, over the years, not only a talented player, but he's an intelligent player, and he did that. He helped our guys get in and out some checks, and like you said, made some critical tackles. And sometimes they're not the splash big hits that everybody likes, but when you get them on the ground, that's the most important thing.
Let's get to this week against Robert Morris for your final game of the season. You go on the road to Joe Walton Stadium and take on the Colonials. What do you see from them that presents a challenge this week? And is it at all similar in their approach to some of the other teams that you've faced in recent weeks from the NEC?
Yeah, there's some similarities. They have a big back that runs hard. Going to have to get him controlled. Their offensive line does a really good job. Quarterback does a nice job managing the game, getting the ball in the hands of the receivers. He can run some. Going to present a problem for our defense. Keep it all contained and working down the field. Defensively, they're gonna play man coverage for the most part all over the field, which gets an extra guy in the box. And so our guys are working hard this week of being able to continue to get downhill on our runs and get to the guys we have to get to, and then our back's going to be required to make one guy miss.
Those guys that you have to get to are two of them, Patrick McDonald and Mitchell Robinson, they're linebackers.
Yeah, all over the field. Those guys make tackles everywhere, so we're going to have to stay tight on those guys and know where they're at. Backs will help with the blocking. We talk about it all the time. It's kind of funny. I'll sit watching films and I'll tell backs, you need to block that guy like the linebacker. And they look at me and I say, well, if you stay downhill, then that backer will come to the mesh and to the blockers, and they do a really good job with their patience and then finding the seam.
For as complicated as the scenarios looked, it actually plays out now pretty simply. If you get a win and Central Connecticut State loses, you get the FCS playoff bid, you'll have a share of the title, and you'll go to the postseason. They start earlier than you guys.
Right.
You start at 2, they start at noon. It's not an NFL stadium. There aren't scores in everybody's face all the time. How do you handle that? What's your approach there in terms of the guys finding out what the score may or may not be by the time you kick off?
I already addressed the team about that. Like I always tell our guys, don't be scoreboard watching and comparison shopping throughout the season. And we got to play our football game. We got to focus on our football game and do what we have to do. But I also understand there's going to be a knowledge with the way social media is and cell phones and everything that by the time we go on the field, we'll have an idea what that score is. But then once we hit that field, we've got to play Duquesne football. We got to do our part and play the game the way we played Saturday, the way we played the beginning and part of the year, and go let it go. And from there, that's what we can control. We can't control the other part of it.
The fact that it's Robert Morris, local rivalries, that help lock you in all the more?
Duke, the way we play it, it's the biggest game of the year because it's the next football game. So the fact that they're close proximity here and we've battled over years, I guess that adds to it. But for us, it's about the Dukes. It's about playing our football game and playing the best game that we possibly can. We put ourselves in this situation. We like to say we want to compete every year. At the end of the season, the last week of the season for the championship, we're in that situation. We need to take advantage of that, and I think we will. I've told these guys I trust them. And for all year, I trusted them that they're going to play their best football game the next football game.
Well, Jerry, thanks a lot for the time. Greatly appreciate it, and thank you for doing this all season long.
It was a pleasure, Tim. I enjoyed it.
All right, Jerry Schmitt, head coach of the Duquesne Dukes, has been our guest here, of course, for the Duquesne University Football Coaches Show on SportsNet Pittsburgh. Again, brought to us by Cordia, Creating Energy Solutions, Mike's Beer Bar on the North Shore, and UPMC Sports Medicine, the official healthcare provider of the Duquesne Dukes. Taj Butts, after his big week against Central Connecticut State, coming up next here on SportsNet Pittsburgh.
At Cordia, we approach energy from a different point of view, asking what's next instead of what now, perfecting solutions long before they are needed. Our team pushes boundaries, asks tough questions, and explores every possibility. We drive innovation so the energy you rely on today paves the way to a more sustainable tomorrow. Cordia, creating energy solutions.
I was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer and told you should seek end-of-life care. I went to UPMC, and so the very first time, I didn't get that blank stare. He said, this is what we do, saving lives like mine.
Prepare to think bigger. Gain real-world experience. Build a solid foundation. Start your journey. Achieve your academic ambitions. Experience a horizon-expanding education. Make a positive impact. Discover what you're good at and why that's good for the world. Are you ready? It's time for bigger goals. Duquesne University.
And welcome back to the Duquesne University Football Coaches Show. Tim Benz along with Taj Butts, who's brought to us by Summit Academy and the Academy Schools, inspiring hope through education and treatment. Taj, congratulations on the big week against Central Connecticut State. FCS Player of the Week honors for putting up over 200 yards against the Blue Devils. We were just talking during the commercial break about all the injuries that you've had to battle through. A couple of different ankle sprains, one on each side, a hamstring injury as well. How good, or maybe better said, were you feeling good going into that game health-wise, or once you got out there, did every injury just go away after the first carry?
Besides going into like the first game of the season was the Pitt game. That was like the best I felt all season. I had, like Coach said, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've been in the training room every day, just been trying to get as healthy as possible. And I feel like the bye week and then not playing LIU really gave me some time to get healthy. And I knew from warm-ups that I was feeling really good, you know what I mean? And after that first drive and getting that first touchdown after taking a couple tackles, I could tell that I was feeling real good and I was going to be able to play a good game. So, yeah, I would say after the first drive, I knew I was uh, just going I knew I was going to fight through whatever pain I had and, play the full game that day.
Well, going back to when I started calling the games for Duquesne, I think it was 2018 was the first year I was doing it. Even though you have great lead running backs, we've always seen the need to get down the depth chart, second guy, third guy, fourth guy, because you guys take such a pounding with as much as you run the ball.
Yeah.
So how much did it boost your morale while you were not at 100% to see Sean Solomon and Ness Davis perform as well as they did?
It just felt good because since high school, I've always shared the ball with another running back. So I've always I've learned early to love seeing somebody else do good because I understand the benefits it can do for me, you know what I mean, or just do for the team period. And just to see another guy, younger guys step up and help the team succeed, it felt good for me. And they help support me and they told me, just get healthy and I got you, and that's good to hear from a teammate, especially another guy your position that they're gonna do their role and be successful.
Where do you feel like you and Sean and Ness are similar? Like, what similar traits do you have that you all do well, and where do you find that the three of you are different?
I feel like we all have a great vision. I feel like we all kind of understand the scheme of how coaches want to run the ball, and we all take it seriously and understand the scheme, and we use our eyes, to like Coach said, to bring down the linebackers or take the linebackers to the opposite way of where we want to go. And I feel like we all do a good job of that. But individually, I feel like Ness is he's just so explosive. You know what I mean? When he gets the ball, you never know what you're gonna get from him. Like, he has speed, he has power. You know what I mean? He can use his offhands to stiff arm you. Obviously, you can see he can jump. He likes to jump a lot. And Sean, on the other hand, Sean is he reminds me of Le'Veon Bell. Like, he's real patient, and when he hits it, he hits it. You know what I mean? And he has moves also. But we all, play our distinct little games, but I feel like our game is all similar to the point where we're patient and we hit the hole when we need to hit it.
Everybody knew about Elijah Howard coming into this game. Everybody knew about your collective team rushing approach.
Yeah.
How much of a point of an emphasis was it going into this week to outperform what he did individually with your collective performance?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't we wasn't really focused on him at all, you know what I mean, or what he can do, or his performance. We were just really focused on our performance. But personally, I would say from the beginning of the season, we're both first team. We're supposed to be first team NEC running backs. So and from my perspective, I'm feeling healthy, and I know he's healthy. So this would be a good game to show who's who would be the better back in the NEC. So I kind of took it personally to show everybody that, I'm who I am, you know what I mean?
Your offensive line did a great job, too. You certainly had some holes that you could exploit and then do your own thing at the second and third level once you did get contact. But can you talk to me about the job that your offensive linemen, and as I brought up with Jerry, too, your tight ends did as well? Because there are a couple big runs you sprung because of blocks from Tarabrella and Canty.
Yeah, they did an amazing job. From the beginning of the week during practice, they all took it serious. Every period from inside run to pass pro, we all took it play by play and took it serious. So when it when it came to the game, it was just it was just falling back on your training. You know what I mean? I would say beginning of the game, I told the guys, I'm going to give you everything you got, everything I got, and the guys told me the same thing. And Danny, he's a real energetic guy, and he always get the guys going. He gets Kenty going. He gets the O-line going, and I feel like he's really like the Energizer Bunny for the blocking, you know what I mean, to get those holes open for him.
Take me through this Friday night meeting that I'm hearing about.
Pull
back the curtain on us and why that helped propel you to a win against Central Connecticut State.
The Friday means as you know, Friday meetings are very important to the team because it's the last thing you hear from your coach before game day. He sat there and he told us that he's not worried about us. We just lost 2 back-to-back NEC games, and your head coach is telling you that he's not worried, he's calm, and I feel like that really is what was a turning point for the team to do the job for coach because by him telling us that he's calm and that he trusts us, it just made us feel like empowered to go play Deuce football.
I remember last year against them, they came in with a very highly ranked defense. They had put up some really good defensive numbers. And I remember how, I'll use your phrase, how personally your defense took that and how well the defense played. But the other half of that was you guys taking care of your own business against Robert Morris's D.
Yeah.
How are they playing it this year defensively, and how do you feel you guys can exploit whatever they're doing defensively this year?
I feel like they're also playing it kind of similar to how they played it last year, kind of heavy in the box, and last year we were able to be successful on passing the ball because
John Irby had a big game.
because they were heavy in the box, and I feel like we will also be able to do that this year with Isabella and Petrus and just our wide receivers in general on the outside. I feel like with me and Ness being back fully healthy and having like a fully healthy offense that we'll have all our weapons in, we'll just let them decide what they want to get beat with.
All right. Taj, thanks a lot for the time. Greatly appreciate it. Again, congratulations on the big game and the FCS honors throughout the course of the week. And best of luck in the regular season finale against the Colonials, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Taj Butts, running back for the Duquesne Dukes, has been our guest here. Plenty more to come as we roll on. It's the Duquesne University Football Coaches Show. Once again, Taj brought to us by Summit Academy and the Academy Schools.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar, full Budweiser flavor. For all the moments you want a beer and need to stay on your game. Budweiser Zero, 0 compromise.
As Western Pennsylvania's largest regional public accounting firm with local ownership and management, Schneider Downs gives you the global ideas your company needs right here at home. Schneider Downs, big thinking, personal focus.
The reason we do this is to change the lives of patients for the better. Pancreatic cancer has a reputation for being a tough cancer to deal with. If you can add mileage to someone's life, the ability for patients to live longer, enjoy time with their family, witness a wedding of a daughter or a son, that's really what we're aiming for.
It's time to look behind the numbers, courtesy of the accounting and consulting firm Schneider Downs. Find out how big thinking with a personal focus can help your organization. Duquesne improved to 6-5 of last week's win, securing at least a 500 season for the 30th time in 33 years at the FCS level. The Dukes also moved to 4-2 in NEC play, locking in a winning conference record for the 10th time in the last 11 seasons. They finished a 3-0 NEC home slate at Rooney Field for the second straight year, and have now won 6 straight league home games. When Duquesne scores 30 or more, it's automatic. The Dukes have won 18 straight since 2023 and are 6-0 this season when hitting that mark. Taj Butts led the way with 254 rushing yards, the most by a Duke since 2003, and the 5th most in a game in program history. His 3 rushing touchdowns are the most by a Duke in 7 years. Quarterback Tyler Rydell sits 6th in the FCS with 24 passing touchdowns after throwing 3 last week. He needs 1 more to become just the 8th Duke with 25 in a season. Duquesne has never had back-to-back seasons with different quarterbacks hitting 25-plus, following Darius Parentis' 29 last season that tied a single-season program record. Rydell enters the regular season finale with 79 touchdown passes in his career, and is 145 yards away from 10,000 for his career. And Joey Isabella is tied for the national lead with 12 touchdown receptions. Last week was his 3rd multi-score game of the season, and he scored in 8 of 11 games. His 29 career touchdowns are tied for 5th all-time at Duquesne, and with 158 receptions, he's 1 catch shy of 4th and 4 away from 3rd on Duquesne's all-time career leaderboard. That was a look behind the numbers courtesy of the accounting and consulting firm Schneider Downs. Find out how big thinking with a personal focus can help your organization. On Saturday, November the 22nd, the Duquesne Dukes head across town to play the Robert Morris Colonials at Joe Walton Stadium. Kickoff is at 2 o'clock, and you can see the game on SportsNet Pittsburgh. You can also listen to it on Fox Sports Radio 970 on the iHeartRadio app. This Road Ahead segment is brought to you by Dean Honda. Dean Honda, visit them on Route 51 in Pleasant Hills or at deanhonda.com.